The scary thing about Kylian Mbappé is that we might already be watching his best chance to win the Ballon d'Or slip away. Because for almost a decade now, football has been telling us the same story. Ever since he broke onto the scene at AS Monaco in 2017, Mbappé wasn't just expected to win a Ballon d'Or, he was expected to dominate it. Multiple titles, his own era, the next face of football. And yet, here we are. He's now 27 years old, nearly 10 years into his career at the very top, and he still hasn't won one. So now the question isn't when Mbappé will win the Ballon d'Or, it's whether he ever will. Because when you actually look at what he's done, it doesn't make sense. This isn't a player who has fallen off or declined. This is someone who has consistently produced elite output year after year, putting up numbers that would normally guarantee individual recognition. And yet when it comes to the Ballon d'Or, he's always just short. Close, but never quite there. And that's not just bad luck anymore, that's a pattern. If you go through his Ballon d'Or finishes, it tells the entire story. In 2018, he finished 4th. In 2019, he was 6th. In 2021, he dropped to 9th. In 2022, he was back to 6th. In 2023, he hit his peak with 3rd place. Then in 2024, he fell back to 6th. And in 2025, he dropped even further to 7th. Despite winning a World Cup, despite scoring a hat-trick in a World Cup final, despite being one of the most dangerous forwards in world football for years, he has never finished higher than 3rd. That's not dominance, that's a ceiling he hasn't been able to break. And now in the 2025-26 season, that same pattern is starting to repeat itself again. Because on paper, this should be his year. At Real Madrid, he's doing everything right. He's played 35 games, scored 38 goals, and added 5 assists. That's 43 goal contributions already. In the Champions League, he's played 9 games, scored 13 goals, and is currently the top scorer in the competition. In La Liga, he's got 23 goals in 24 games. Individually, there's nothing more he could realistically be doing. These are Ballon d'Or level numbers. But the problem is that the Ballon d'Or has never been just about numbers. And that's where things start to go against him again. Because while Mbappé is producing, someone else is building a stronger case in a different way. Lamine Yamal. Yamal might not have the same raw goal output, but he's influencing games, he's winning, and more importantly, he's building a narrative. He's played 40 games this season, scored 21 goals and provided 15 assists, which puts him at 36 goal contributions. FC Barcelona are currently top of La Liga, and right now he's leading the Ballon d'Or race, and that's where things become uncomfortable for Mbappé, because if Yamal wins the major trophies this season and Mbappé doesn't, then once again the story writes itself. The Ballon d'Or will go to the player who delivered success, not just numbers. The margins between them are incredibly thin. Both players are still in the Champions League quarter-finals. Both are competing for the La Liga title. Both are putting up elite numbers. And both are playing for what are arguably the 2 strongest national teams in world football right now. France national football team and Spain national football team. This isn't a situation where one player is clearly ahead. This is a straight fight, and it could go either way, which is why the deciding factor might end up being something outside of club football entirely. The World Cup. Because if Mbappé really wants to secure the Ballon d'Or, he might have to win it again. And not just win it, but dominate it in a way that leaves no debate. We've already seen that simply performing well on the biggest stage isn't enough. In 2018, he won the World Cup and still didn't win the Ballon d'Or. In 2022, he scored a hat-trick in the final and still didn't win it. So this time, it would need to be completely undeniable. And this is where the pressure really comes in, because this might actually be his last clean opportunity. Players like Yamal aren't just competing with him in the present, they represent the future. And once that shift fully happens, Ballon d'Or races stop being open competitions and start becoming dominated eras. We've seen it before with players like Messi and Ronaldo, and there's a very real possibility that something similar could happen again. So for Mbappé, this isn't just another season where he puts up numbers and competes for trophies. This is about timing. This is about capitalizing on a window that might not stay open for much longer. Because if he doesn't win it now, with these performances, with this platform, and with everything aligning the way it is, then you have to seriously ask when he ever will. And that's why, as extreme as it might sound, this might not just be Mbappé's best chance to win the Ballon d'Or. It might be his last.